because you can just tell sometimes by how good a curry looks that it's going to taste good. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. How's your week been? What have you been cooking, especially for National Curry Week? I got loads of responses to that question, some interesting curries being cooked. So I hope you had a good National Curry Week. And what have we got for you this week? We're talking beef Madras. So let's get straight into the cooking. Our pan's nice and hot. So our first ingredient is olive oil. We've got 200 millilitres of extra virgin olive oil. Now, I've had a few people make comments saying they don't use olive oil in India, and that's right. And they probably don't eat beef Madras in India either, because predominantly they're Hindu and a cow is a sacred animal. So we're not going to try and do things exactly like they do in India. But I'm using extra virgin olive oil because it's healthier. There's a lot of concern these days about seed oils, and so hence we're using virgin olive oil. But you use whatever oil or fat you want. I'm not using ghee because I don't want to make this dish too rich. It's going to be rich enough, so I'm going with oil. So this curry is going to be a mixture of whole spices and powder spices. We're going for something that's really tasty. So we're going to put 3 Asian bay leaves into our oil. We're going to add to that 1 large piece, I don't know if you can see that there, of stick cinnamon. We're going to use some green cardamom because green cardamom works really well with spicy curries. We're going to put in 8. So I'm going to put them on my chopping board, the blade of the knife flat, and just press down, and it basically splits your husks open so it exposes the seeds. We'll put them in with a teaspoon of Kala Jeera. This is the black jeera, which I mentioned on the channel a while ago. It has a sweeter flavour and it's less harsh than your regular cumin. But if you can't get this, don't worry, just use regular cumin, it will be fine. I'm going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cloves, and we'll just let them temper just for a second or two, about 30 seconds in our oil. This is a recipe for 4, so we're going with 2 large onions, and I'm going to blitz them to a paste in my blitzer. So what we're aiming for is a paste, really. So we're going to fry these onions for probably about 6 or 7 minutes, just till they change colour and go a sort of a dark yellow to sort of light brown colour. I've got 10 cloves of garlic because, do you remember I mentioned a couple of weeks back in one of my other videos that this is a real secret to getting that Asian taste, that authentic Indian or Bengali or Pakistani taste, is that they use a lot of garlic, particularly in spicier curries. So we've got 10 cloves of garlic. So what we've done with it is we've grated it so that it brings out the oils and it just adds a more pungent garlicky flavour to our dish. Get our onions underway. It always helps to put the salt in at this stage. This will soften your onions, bring out the moisture too. We've got 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and let that cook for, as I say, about 6 minutes. Because we're cooking with beef, this dish will take an hour. So you need to factor in an hour for this curry from start to finish, because we want to make sure that our beef is nice and tender. So what beef am I going with? Well, I bought this beef from Aldi because it got a good write-up. This is aged beef. It's supposed to be a little bit more tender, and it was quite reasonably priced as well. People are really enjoying this no base series, and you can create amazing tasting curries that are just as good, if not actually better, than what you get in your takeaway or Indian restaurant. So it's been 7 minutes. I checked halfway through and the onions were fine. As you can see, if you look in the pan, guys, you can see the onions have changed colour. Now this is a good quality tomato puree. You know I recommend the 𝑐𝒍𝒻𝒻 or 𝑐URIES brand, depending on how you pronounce it. But any really good quality puree will do. About 2 tablespoons of tomato puree, and mix it with just a little bit of water, just so that it'll blend easier in the pan. So you just want to cook the rawness out of that. So we can now go in with our powdered spices. 2 teaspoons, just level teaspoons of turmeric powder, 2 of the red Kashmiri chili powder, 2 freshly ground coriander, 1 heaped teaspoon of freshly ground cumin, and we're going to also add in 2 teaspoons of Madras curry powder. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. And just fry those off for a moment. Ginger in. Now we put the ginger in afterwards because I want this ginger to have a little bit of texture in my curry. You can blend it into a paste if you want. This is just roughly chopped ginger. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add in some hot water. And this is just going to loosen this up a little bit in the pan and just help with cooking our tomatoes too. So not too much, just about that amount. And we're going to take our tomatoes and just put them in our pan like this. And we're probably going to leave them tomatoes for probably 10 minutes. And we'll come back and you'll find that the skins will just peel straight off. And then in a little while after that, we'll be able to mash them with a masher and we'll get a lovely smooth sauce. So it's been about 10 minutes. Let's just check on our tomatoes and see if the skins are ready to be pulled off yet. So you can see the skins are split. You can see the oil has separated. Skin is just coming off. It's just about ready. If you find it doesn't come off easily, then just cook them for a little bit longer. So I'm going to take my masher and I'm just going to mash them a little bit into the sauce. So now we're going to take our kilo of diced beef and we're going to add that in. So beef has been quite often requested. So I'm going to add a little bit more water in. This is just going to help. Remember, when you're adding water, make sure it's hot water. I mean, we can add quite a lot of water in because this will reduce down. So we just want to make sure all the beef pieces are separate so that they will cook nicely. We're going to bring our heat to like medium to high, and this will cook. We'll put our lid on for about 40 minutes to get our beef nice and tender, but we're not just going to leave it for 40 minutes. We're going to come back maybe every 8 minutes and just check that nothing's sticking in the pan. About halfway through the 40-minute cooking process of the beef, we're going to add in our other ingredients that we've not added in yet. We're going to add in our garam masala. We're going to add in our black pepper. And we're going to also add in our green chilies. And we're going to add in this little secret ingredients, which is more of a sort of an Indian thing. So if you've ever had a Madras curry in an Indian restaurant, like the one I featured recently in Fuerteventura, the Bombay Masala, they use coconut in their Madras, and it really does sort of take it to a whole new place. I absolutely love it. Much prefer it, to be honest with you. It just adds a creaminess, it adds a certain background sweetness. It just adds something, and it works so well with spicy curries. So do you remember when I was adding the powdered spices in that I mentioned that I was going to add in Raja Madras curry powder in there? And you might wonder why, when you know that just with my recent curries, really, I'm using all spices individually, your coriander, your cumin, turmeric, chili powder. Why am I adding a curry powder in? Well, Raja Madras curry powder has some really interesting ingredients in there. Obviously the usual turmeric, coriander, cumin, but it adds fenugreek in there, fenugreek seed, and it just adds a certain something. And you'll find that they obviously use Raja a lot in the Indian restaurants. So because this Madras, I want it to have that sort of restaurant curry taste, I added the Raja Madras curry powder in there. It's a bit, I suppose, like adding your garam masala in. It just is a little something extra that maybe your other spices are missing. So that's just a little tip for you. Let's take a look in the pan. As I said, we want to sort of make some additions to our curry 20 minutes in. You can see the oil separating. It's starting to look really like a Madras curry, isn't it? Look at that. We're going to add in our garam masala. This is my own blend of garam masala. I just recommend get a good one that's more than the regular 7 spice. Try and get a 12 spice. This one's got this is a 17 spice garam masala, and it's a recipe that's from my book there. So we're going to put in a good heaped teaspoon and a half, I think, because this is really going to lift our Madras. We're going to add in our black pepper, good heaped teaspoon amount of freshly ground black pepper. So we're going to take our green chilies. We're just going to take the heads off and just break them in half. So literally just take the heads off, break them in half and throw them in the pot. This is looking really good. We're just going to add about that much water. So there's just one little addition that's missing from our curry. With a curry like this, a hot spicy Madras, I would always add a good bunch of fresh coriander. But I bought a big pack of fresh coriander, brought it home. This was just yesterday afternoon, and I opened it today to chop it up fine to use in this curry recipe. And well, as you can see in this image, it was just all mulchy and off and dark green and slimy and smelly as well. It smelled awful, and I didn't feel inclined to try and salvage any of it because it was just awful. So we'll put the lid on and we can leave that now to cook for another 20 minutes. 20 minutes will take us up to the hour. Remember I said in the final 8 minutes, so that's in about 12 minutes, we add in our final ingredients, which will be coconut cream, 200 milliliters of coconut cream, and we'll just add that in and then just bring that down to a nice simmer for that final 8 minutes. And then towards the end, probably about 3 or 4 minutes before the end, we'll add in some lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, which will give that characteristic sharpness that Madras is known for. So it's been 12 minutes. It's now time to put in our coconut. So let's just take a look in our pan and see how things are looking. I'm just gonna add the coconut cream in first. To get a really nice spicy curry where all the heat isn't coming from chili powder, you want to be using, and I mentioned this in a short video that I put up on the channel about 6 months ago, ginger, fresh chilies, green chilies and black pepper. Those three together, ginger, fresh chilies and black pepper, will add a whole heat level that chili powder itself doesn't give. So we'll just cook that gravy now for a few more minutes before we add in our lemon juice. Oh, that's looking fantastic. Wow, take a look at that. So now we're going to add in our lemon juice. We just got 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. We don't want to go mad with that, just to add that sort of, you just want to add that background sharpness. Let's serve it up and do a proper taste test. Now take a look at that. How good does that beef Madras look? Let's just try this sauce. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow, that is so good. A beef Madras with no base gravy. So I'm just going to try some of the sauce now with the beef and tell you how that tastes. Exceptional. That beef has cooked really, really well. Yeah, all in all, 10 out of 10 for that beef. I'm really pleased with it. Just gonna try the sauce one more time. Wow, I just got a pop of fresh ginger. That is such a treat. And if you've got a particular request for a favourite curry of yours without base gravy, then put that request in the comments section below. I will note that and add it to the fast growing list of requests because so many people have requested curry recipes without base. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, give me a like and hit the bell notification button. You'll be alerted as I make new recipes. If you're a regular visitor, well, thank you for coming back. I really appreciate your support. So until next time, you know what? Happy currying.